Throughout the day today, I had one question only. And this question is directed at the ANC. And it's directed at the ANC because the ANC is a party that's been in charge of this country since 1994, which is now going to 32 years. And this question is a question that I want to direct to the ANC as a party, as a government, and ANC as members of the ANC to say, do you realize what you've done to this country? Do you realize what you've done to South Africa? Do you realize the damage that you've caused to this country? Do you realize how deep the problems are that were caused by yourselves? And I want to break it down for you so that you can understand where I'm coming from when I talk about these things. I'm not making things up or coming up with theories that don't exist. I'm asking this question based on the evidence that we have right now in 2026 as a country. Number one, you have millions and millions of young people that are not working, unemployed. Our unemployment rate is at 31.4%. You have millions and millions of young people that are unemployed in this country. What will become of them? Do you realize what you've done to the youth of this country? Do you realize the seriousness of the problem of unemployment that you've caused in this country? Do you realize what you've done to the mentality and the psyche of a young person in this country? Imagine this. You're a young person, you're in your early 20s, you've just graduated, you've been looking for a job. First year, you don't get a job. Second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. It's been 5 years you've been looking for a job. You stay at your house with your parents, siblings in Tembisa or Deep Sloot or Soweto. Do you understand what happens to your life? Because the question that you're asking yourself as an unemployed person is, what will become of me? Do you understand how vulnerable that person is to joining gangs and doing drugs and becoming a drunkard and doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, getting involved in crime? So what you guys have done as the ANC is you've destroyed the fabric of the society by creating an unemployment problem where townships are like an asylum. Townships are like a place where you just go and see the horrors of the day. I remember going to the townships as a young man. You go in there, you wake up in the morning, and there are people waking up, and people are running to taxis and buses, getting to their own cars. They're going to work. It's busy. It's buzzing in the morning at 5:30, 6:30 in the morning. But right now, if you go to the township on a Tuesday morning, the first thing you're going to see is young people holding bottles of alcohol, roaming around the township with no purpose whatsoever. That's what you've done, ANC government. So the question I want to ask you, do you realize what you've done to the youth of this country? Do you realize what you've done to young people? Listen, I've got two kids, and my youngest child is doing her final year, and I'm in a position that I am in is a privileged position because I'll be able to help her set up a business. I'll be able to help her, you know, join the family business and get to be busy and learn some stuff, even if it means she starts as an admin person and she can apply the skills that she's. But imagine you're a young person who's graduated, looking for a job for 5 years, and you stay in deep slot, or you stay in the most underprivileged situation in South Africa where there is no way out. There's no uncle that can help you out. Your parents don't have the resource to help you out. 80% of this family is on SASA grants. What do you do? What are we going to do with this? What will become of the young people of this country? What will become of them? What are we going to do? Just recycle them? There's no recycling of them. They're getting older, their skills are getting outdated, and they're getting more and more frustrated. What will become of them? So, what I want to ask you as the ANC government, ANC member, ANC branch leader, do you realize what you've done to this country? Do you realize how a country with so much potential in 1994, with infrastructure equivalent to first world countries, and what you've done is you've taken this country from a potential first world country to a third world joke. That's what you've done. And you have to pay for this. Because when I look at young people today, when I go to townships, when I meet young people, the level of hopelessness is disturbing. Because you've created a generation of young people with no direction, no hope for the future, and are so vulnerable to crime and drugs and all sorts of bad social problems. That's what you've done. So now let's just break it down a little bit. If you look at unemployment of young people, and I might be wrong about the statistics, but I believe that the majority of unemployed young people will be in rural areas and townships. So what you've created now is a situation where, the last time I was in Ivory Park, and I was at the Ivory Park Stadium doing measurements and going up and down with the quantity surveyor. And in the stadium, because it's vandalized, there's a lot of Nyaope addicts there. If you ever looked, if you ever come face to face with a Nyaope addict, if you ever come face to face with a young person who's barely 19, who's addicted to Nyaope, if you ever come face to face with that person, if you ever look them in the eye, if you ever come face, it is the most uncomfortable thing you've ever done in your life. And these cases, so we are treating Nyaupe in the townships like it's a norm. It's not a norm. And this government refuses to do anything about it because we've created a situation where people are unemployed, people are hopeless, people are hungry. So you've created some sort of a welfare system where people get 370 rand a month. And then because it's so depressing, they rather just go buy Nyaupe than buy food. And these people are kids. You try it. Have you ever seen a Nyaupe addict in the township? It is the most heartbreaking thing you've ever seen in your life. On my mom's street in the township, there used to be a boy, I forgot his name. He was a cute boy growing up. I think he might be about 10 or 12 years younger than me. And one of these days, I was going there to see my mother, and I came across him. And I quickly picked up that he's addicted to Nyaupe. Dropped out of school, I don't know what happened. But when you come face to face with a Nyaupe addict in the township, it'll break your heart. So the question I want to ask this government is, do you realize the problems that you've caused for this country? Do you realize how deep you've dragged this country with you? Deep down to the pits of hell. And it's going to be very difficult to pull ourselves out there. That's what you've done. And number two, do you realize what you've done to our army, to our military? At some point, South Africa's military was rated amongst the best in the world. The best in the world. But today, our military is a joke. Our military, I don't think our military can even defeat any other army in Africa. You have literally looted our military. You have looted everything that was there, and you've stopped all the programs that could have put us on the map. That's what you've done. You've taken a good thing that you should have taken and nurtured and advanced and made better. But instead, you literally just gutted it. You just stripped it. And you left it in the streets to just rot. Like, how do you do that as a government? You're supposed to build new things and improve lives. But instead, what you do is destroy everything you've touched in the past 30 years. You've destroyed it. You've destroyed it. You've destroyed our military, the best military in Africa at least. And now it's just another African army with no direction, no innovation, nothing. It's just there. And do you realize what you've done to our infrastructure? Do you realize that our infrastructure is rated amongst the best in the world? The design, the quality of it. But what you've done is you've literally stripped it off. We have traffic lights that don't work. We have railway systems that are being looted and taken and stripped on a daily basis, and we do nothing about it. You have zamazamas digging behind people's houses underneath roads. You've got no way to control how this beast that you have let come into being and grow to be this thing that you cannot even control. And now it's controlling even you. You've allowed our infrastructure to be taken for granted. Instead of improving it and making it better and better every time, you've let it become a source of income for thieves and criminals. And you've put your fingers and your hands in the pot. That's what you've done. You've created a system that rewards criminals. So those criminals, when they see a traffic light or a street light, they see an opportunity to steal cable and go wait somewhere. You have not created. You found a system that was created to catch the thieves and then bring them the book and have the judge put them into prison. Instead, that system is twisted now. And that system is a system where if you're a criminal, the chances are you'll get away with it. That's what you've done. From one of the best infrastructures in the world to now being stripped right in front of our eyes. Traffic lights. I mean, sometimes when you drive around, you don't have to be a policeman. You can clearly see that this traffic light was cut off professionally, just lying on the side of the road, and that traffic light will lie there for the next 3 months. How many times do we drive through busy streets, Vetkopen Road, Bearsnodie, um, Winnie Mandela Drive, and you find a very busy intersection that is always out for the next 2 months, 2 years. Some intersections, the traffic lights have been out for so long that the traffic lights have also disappeared. And nobody gives a damn about it. The signage is off. The- like the chaos that you've created is unbelievable. Yet you refuse to take responsibility and say, guys, you know what? I'm going to step down. You know what? I'm the mayor of this city or town. I've failed at my job. Let me just give it to somebody else. Instead, you want to keep looting and stripping us of our infrastructure. That is not your infrastructure, it's our infrastructure. But you've allowed thieves to cross the border and come wherever they come from and steal and then cross the border again and go sell it somewhere else. That's what you've done. And then I'll go back to the townships. When I think about townships, I think about a project that was never supposed to be developed, where you put a certain color of people in one place away from all the activities, away from the economy, and then you box them in, and then you break the whole family system, and then that's how you can control them. Well, 1994 comes, you're supposed to dismantle this system and make sure that these people now can rise up and have the opportunities, move closer to towns and opportunities and roads and infrastructure. Instead, these townships have become worse than before 1994. These townships have become, first of all, they are more like refugee camps. Number two, they've become hell. Let me put it bluntly, hell. You tell me, have you ever been to Deep Slot? Have you ever been to Alex? Have you been to Ivory Park? And look around you. The garbage, filth everywhere. Nothing is working. They don't even replace stop signs anymore. They don't even replace traffic lights anymore. They don't replace street lights anymore. The whole place is like a big dump of nothing. Just chaos. People just dig and sell river sand and building sand. Anyone can just do anything, anywhere, anytime. There are no consequences. JMPD, EMP just drive past. They join the party sometimes with illegal taverns. The whole thing is just created as chaos, and there's unemployed people in there. There's thieves. There's criminals. People are selling whatever they want to sell over there. There's tuck shops that are illegal and killing kids. That is the system we've created. So the townships have become hell. Living in the township at the moment has to be one of the most difficult things, because the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to get load reduction from 5 o'clock until 10 o'clock. When that's done, there's not enough water. Illegal structures pop up everywhere. Informal settlements come up from everywhere. There's illegal connections. There's sewage going down the road. Nobody's patching up the potholes anymore. When you go to work, you can get marked, breakings, people get violated. There's like all the chaos is there, and you've neglected it, and you've given up on it, and those are your people, and those are the people that have put you in charge, and this is what you've done to them. So the question again is, do you realize what you've done? Do you realize what you've done to this beautiful country? The last one I'll touch on is obviously my passion, which is crime. To say that you've created a haven for criminals now. The criminals are no longer afraid of being criminals. The criminals are now the leaders of society, because they've infiltrated the South African police service. I mean, just watching Madlanga Commission, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it, because every time I watch the Madlanga Commission, I am reminded of how unsafe my family is. I'm reminded of how unsafe everybody in this country is right now. There is no law enforcement in the country. There is no justice system because it's been dismantled, infiltrated by criminals, and the people that are supposed to be protecting us are part of the criminal syndicate. I can't watch it anymore because it makes me so angry that I'm watching a group of people that were appointed to protect us. Instead, they're working in cahoots with criminals, making money, advancing their own agenda, while people lose their lives on a daily basis. It's disgusting. So that's where I want to end it. But the question again is, if you're a member of the ANC, if you work for the ANC, if you are one of the big shots at ANC, if you're the president of the ANC, the question I want to ask you is this. If you're a minister, do you realize what you've done to this country? Do you realize what you've done to this country? And do you know that at some point you're going to have to take responsibility? Doesn't matter how long you want to run away from it. At some point you're going to have to account and you will pay the price. Anyway, I just want to update you. Those are my thoughts for the day. That's the question that's been like circling my mind the whole day. Do these people realize what they've done to our country? Do they realize the damage they've caused? Do they realize how much they've dragged us down? And everybody's trying to get up and they just keep pushing us down. And you were put in positions of power. And I'll call it out like it is. As black people, the ANC, you call yourself a party for black people and Africans in particular. Do you think you're making us proud? As a black person, do you think I look at you and I look up to you? You're supposed to be going out there and indicating and demonstrating why you are there. And be proud and say, look, for all the stereotypes about us, everything that everybody thought about us was false. We can do this. We can run a government. We can run a country. We can improve things. We can create stuff instead of destroying it. But what have you done? You've literally just you fell into the stereotype of saying that black people cannot achieve anything. That's what you've done. You've killed the dreams of 18-year-olds and 28-year-olds. You've killed dreams. So young South Africans cannot dream anymore because when they look at who's in charge, they're not inspired. Your job was supposed to be in there and represent every one of us and say, look, no matter what they say about us, we can get things done. But you've done the opposite. Anyway, those are my thoughts for the day. And just an update on the Hartford Patrol Unit. Um, we had a legal meeting with the city of Joburg, and the feedback now is there's just a couple of things that we have to change on our proposed agreement, and that will be done throughout the week with the legal team. And I'm really hoping that by the end of this month, March 2026, we'll have an agreement in place and have a starting day to repair the stadium, get the facilities back in order so that we can start training our patrols that have joined. Young people, unemployed people in the Ivory Park area that we want to train for 12 weeks in law enforcement to patrol the streets and get rid of the criminals in Ivory Park. It's a pilot project. We want to start in Ivory Park because I am very connected to that place. And as soon as we have an agreement in place, we'll have a countdown on which day we're going to start the training. So that's the feedback. The agreement is with the city of Joburg. There's a couple of things that have to be changed on the draft. We're going to be working on that. Latest Friday, it's going to be sent back to them. And we are aiming at end of March. This month that we're in now, when this month ends, we want to make sure that the agreement is in place and we can have a starting day for the Hartford Patrol Unit. Anyway, that's all for the day. Until then, stay safe.